Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, Sonic from SEGADriven.com, and welcome back to our Sonic Amateur Games Expo 2019 coverage. In this video we're taking a look at Sondro Gomez, A Wonderworld Story. Now, this is an interesting little title in that it is a prequel to a game that we saw at last year's stage. So you might remember Kyle and Lucy Wonderworld. Well, Sondro Gomez is a prequel to Kyle and Lucy, and while Kyle and Lucy was an independent game that took influence from the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, Sondro Gomez takes influence from Castlevania, and it's very heavily themed on the NES Castlevanias in particular. So it's got that sort of NES aesthetic. It's all 4:3 aspect ratio, sort of low colour palette, and yeah, it's like I say, very sort of similar to a traditional sort of linear based Castlevania game, and not the sort of Metroidvania massive open map ones. There is a bit of exploration to be done in here, and it definitely is a better game for it, but mainly you're sort of exploring kind of linear stages and looking for items and jewels and things to rack up your money counter, because the whole point of the game is that you're in debt and you owe someone a huge amount of money. So you're always exploring and sort of hitting these bells to try and find more money. But also you get power-ups, and they change the way the game plays. You've got sort of wings, which give you sort of a double jump and a sort of floaty sort of glide down to the ground, which is a nice little touch. There's an item which allows you to triangle jump off walls. Yeah, there's some interesting bits and pieces to muck around with here. It's nothing game-changing. It's very much stuff that's been done before, done by the Castlevania franchise before as well. But it does it all very well, and it's a great playing game. It's quite generous as well. Good solid little demo. There's a fair bit of a game to muck around with, and it's all very well made and very fun to play. So it's a difficult thing to criticise, to be honest with you. It's just for an original title, I guess it wears its influences on its sleeve, and Castlevania is very much the obvious one. So in that regard, if you're not a fan of the Castlevania franchise, you're probably not going to get an awful lot out of this. But it's not as challenging as the Castlevania franchise, so it's probably something you might want to play if you've always found that franchise a little bit too difficult to get into, because this is a really nice sort of difficulty curve. It's not particularly challenging, but at the same time there's just enough challenge there to make it fun and interesting, and I really enjoyed my time with it, to be honest with you. It's a really solid little action platformer. Like I say, it's just really well made. It's certainly something you'd want to play if you're a fan of Castlevania games, and if you have any sort of nostalgia for that NES era of games, then this will absolutely tick all the right boxes for you, because it's so well made, so loving, such a loving tribute to that era of games, and I think it's well worth checking out in that regard. So that's Sondro Gomez, A Wonderworld Story. Like I say, a prequel to a game that we saw previously, Kyle and Lucy Wonderworld, which I will link at the end of this video. But yeah, a really solid little game, a great little throwback to NES games and Castlevania in particular, and something well worth checking out.